and welcome to Extreme Graphics Tech. I have to say, I am not sure if I am happy or sad today. Sad because Callisto Protocol is a disaster, at least on PC. Happy because this means I don't have to test, to dedicate so many hours of testing. And that's because I decided I'm not going to keep testing broken games. It's a waste of time. And this is still some sort of promotion. I'm going to say it like it is. And I'm going to put it very big on the thumbnail because this needs to stop. I have analyzed a couple of games recently, big games that have come in a situation that that is not acceptable. These games are Batman, the Gotham Knight game, the Tailblade Requiem, and recently also Sackboy. Even though this last one has already been fixed, not the other two. And the biggest problem I see is that these are completely unoptimized games in every sense, especially when it comes to CPU. And it seems that now that the current gen consoles have a decent CPU, different than it used to be, because remember we had those very bad Jaguar cores on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now developers don't know what the word optimization is. They used to have to optimize as best as possible because those consoles were, not very, very good considering even by the time they came out, especially on the CPU side of things. So they had to optimize the code as much as possible. But now it seems like they don't care because they have power to spare, or at least to get to the point where they want to. So what is happening to Callisto Protocol is a complete disaster, at least on the PC side of things. And I am done testing this sort of games and dedicating 12 to 14 hours just recording, testing different GPUs for no reason. Because at the end of the day, we are, doing nothing because we are testing a broken game. So why is Callisto Protocol broken? Well, there are many reasons for this. I have played around 1 to 2 hours of game, and I decided I wasn't going to keep testing. And you're going to see some benchmark I have taken of the game. First thing, the game has a very big shader stutter compilation problem. The game stutters like crazy. You're not going to see that probably on the benchmark because the benchmarks were taken after I played for a couple of hours of the game. So you are not going to be seeing that in there. But what you are going to see is that a game that is completely limited when it comes to CPU, but absolutely limited even on scenarios where it makes no sense. You're going to see a game going under 60 FPS even without ray tracing active on like a corridor with nothing on it. So it makes no sense that the game is going under 60 FPS with a 12600K that is overclocked to 5 GHz on all performance core. So how is it that this CPU is not able to keep 60 FPS? Even a 12900K, and I know this because John Lineman from Digital Foundry, we were talking on Twitter, and he confirmed that he has the same problem even on a 12900K. And you could argue, well, there are better CPUs out there like the Raptor Lake, the 1300 series, or the new Ryzen. If you are, just justifying the behavior of these games because you need to have the latest and the greatest CPU to get to 60 FPS constant, then you are part of the problem. And I'm not trying to be, feisty here, but or conflictive. I'm just trying to say that you can justify a game behavior like this because there is better technology. Because I have a 4090, and that would be like saying if your game doesn't run at 1080p 60 FPS with your GPU with a 3060, it's because you don't have a 4090. That makes absolutely no sense. So games are supposed to behave in certain way with certain hardware. I'm not asking for 144 FPS constant. No, I'm just asking for 60 stable FPS, which you can get. And remember, the CPU that the console have are much lower than this one. So there is something really wrong with this game. Another complaint I have, and is the most popular video I have on my channel has been the AMD 6800 video, which has like 15K reproductions now. Considering how small my channel is, that's a lot. However, it seems that some people think that I am I should be some sort of AMD messiah just because I said something good about a product. And now they want me to like always keep talking good about AMD, but that's not me. I'm not going to be talking good about Nvidia or AMD or anyone. I'm going to be talking true, which is different. That means I'm going to say bad things and good things depending on what they're doing. And this is something I really dislike about AMD. This is an AMD supported game, promoted game. And that means that every time AMD supports or promotes a game, they forbid or do something where the game doesn't support any other technology that is not AMD. While you see NVIDIA games that have DLSS and are promoted by NVIDIA, which has FSR and XeSS without any issues whatsoever. I have seen this from AMD for Far Cry and now the Callisto Protocol, just to name the two I have on the top of my head. So these two games are AMD promoted and all they support is FSR. No DLSS. No DLSS at all. And the worst part of this situation is that both games also support ray tracing. But in both cases, the ray trace implementation is bad. It's like almost nothing. And we know why this is. And the reason is because AMD is very weak when it comes to ray tracing. So they try to just put some sort of ray tracing layer that doesn't make them look bad, that you can still run the game, but doesn't, it doesn't run very slow. Because when a full path trace game, you compare between AMD and NVIDIA is normally twice as fast as AMD. So every time a title is supported by AMD or is promoted by AMD, the ray trace implementation tends to be very lackluster. But the worst part of this is not even the lackluster of the implementation. That is broken. The ray tracing shadows in Callisto Protocol are broken. They don't look good, they look pixelated, and they look even worse than the raster counterpart. They are terrible shadows in these games when you activate ray tracing, which make absolute no sense. Ray tracing is supposed to make the game look better, and this is not the case here. The reflections work okay, they are good. But now the shadows. This could be a bug, yes, but this is a promoted title. It's supposed to be running well, okay? And even worse, FSR makes the game look even worse. It looks terrible with FSR on. It's like the implementation is also broken. And in this case, you're not going to get anything. So I went from 4K native to FSR performance, and all I got was 3 extra FPS. Only 3 extra FPS. Yes, this could be a limitation by the CPU, which is not able to get anything more. However, when I put the game at 1080p, I get around 15 extra FPS. So are you telling me that the FSR cost is around 10 FPS in this? And to make it look even worse when you're supposed to keep around the same quality, I know it's never going to be the same as native, but it's not the case here. So I started saying I don't know if I was happy or sad about this situation. And I'm happy because I don't have to test and do a 14-hour video and testing and so on. Well, not video and testing and so on. But what I'm really angry that this keeps happening to the PC community. That the PC community is always getting the shaft. That we get not necessarily the better hardware, but we are like the biggest community of them all, and we get this situation where games are so badly optimized, and the Callisto Protocol developer didn't even release the spec for Max and Ultra until the day of release, and they didn't even let the reviews come out before release. And this is telling a lot, because this is the same thing that happened to Cyberpunk. Even though the best version of Cyberpunk was actually the PC version. I don't know how this Callisto Protocol is running on consoles, but I have to say that on PC, this is disrespectful. This can't keep happening, and people need to stand to it. People need to start returning this game. People need to start not buying this game, not pre-ordering. I'm not saying, and hear me, I'm not saying this game is unplayable. Okay, you can play for sure. I don't know if there is any bug or that it's going to break the game or anything like that, but it's not that the game is unplayable, but it's not in a state where I should be paying for this game. It's not deserve of my money, and it's not right that I have to pay for this game now to get it fixed like in 2 months. Because probably in 2 months you are going to get this game for cheap. Yes, it's our fault for pre-ordering a digital game when you don't even need to pre-order a digital game. In my case, I have a YouTube channel. I like to talk about this. But if you don't have the need to, and you don't have anything to gain for playing the game on the first day, I would recommend you not to keep doing this. And wait, not for me, but for other people you trust or anything to give you the information about the game before you spend your hard-earned money. Because developers are looking at us and they think we are a bunch of idiots who are going to spend money just because they created enough hype. And sometimes, yes, it's our fault. But this needs to stop. Developers have to be held accountable, and they need to fix these things and not release games in this state. This game, for me, is broken on many levels. Ray tracing implementation, FSR is completely broken. No DLSS or any other technology from any other vendor. Stuttering, and so it's even if you're playing without ray tracing, okay, the game is going to fluctuate from 30 FPS to whatever it is that your GPU is capable and your CPU. So it's not about you are not powerful enough. No, the game is broken, and this needs to be fixed. I'm tired of thinking I have a top of the end hardware and your game keeps being broken. Even if I play at 1080p, the game doesn't run well. It has nothing to do with the settings or anything. It's just a broken game. It really is. People, we need to stop this. We need to stop this situation. We need to stop playing this game, and we need to start telling the developer what you're doing is wrong, because it is. It is wrong. And we're tired of these developers doing this to us. Please, everybody raise your voice and let the developer know that they have basically robbed you because they lied to you. This is a lie. This game should not be in this state, and I am tired of this. And I hope that the next game I'm going to test is the Need for Speed Unbound. I really hope that game is running better, because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. Thank you very much, and see you on the next video.